We've got Shantimony, Deputy Leader, with us today. We've got Laura, Director of Place and Infrastructure, with us today. And we've got a really good interactive agenda. These are for you when we get to something and say, do you like that? Do you not like that? The clue is that's good, that's bad. And we'll go through that in a little while. The theme is Realise the Remarkable, because we've been doing a lot of work on a thing called the People Plan, which is about how we make sure, within the constraints that we've got, we have the best deal for our employees, for us, all of us, going forward, who are making a difference through the Luton Investment Framework. So this is actually about you. This presentation is a chance for you to influence direction of travel of where we're going, but we are going to give you an update on what's going on across the council as well.
Hey, good afternoon everybody. Really sorry I can't be with you, as I really enjoy the staff briefings, but I'm sure, as Trevor will have said, I'm on holiday this week. I thought it was really important to let you know some of the things that we're doing in the People Directorate at the moment, because there's lots of exciting things happening. Now we're 12 months on from being a merged adults and children's services organisation. Some of the exciting things that are going on at the moment are that the DFE have given us £2.4 million to reshape the way that we deliver social work services to children. That's incredibly exciting because it brings in partners who work traditionally with adults, so the parents that we work with, to support the work of our children's social workers and hopefully make sure that our children in Luton get the right outcomes that they need, particularly when there are safeguarding issues. That puts us at the forefront of what's happening in children's services across the country, and it's great that the DFE have felt that Luton is a good place for that money to be invested. Also, lots of exciting things happening in terms of our schools and education. We're working hard with the range of different types of schools that we now have in Luton. We're working hard to make sure that we have the right number of school places for the increasing population that we have. And if you keep a lookout, there's going to be a number of new schools being developed across the town, and it's really important that we, as a local authority, support the development of those schools, even if they are academies and free schools, as we now start to change the way that we deliver education. In adult services, we've got lots of exciting work happening around the developments in terms of integration, both with the in terms of commissioning and the way that we commission and use our resources effectively, but also working more jointly with the other providers of services to adults in the town, particularly the health service providers, and more importantly for me, particularly with GPs. It's really important that we look at how our adult social workers can work in a joined-up way with those other services, so that actually we're providing a rounded service for those people that need them. And I think that's going to be something that we're going to be working heavily on in the next 12 months, and some of you may start to hear me talk about what's going to be called our Provider Alliance, as we start to bring together the way that we shape services for adults across the town. As you can see, we've got a lot of exciting things happening, and everything that we do fits into the Luton Investment Framework in terms of how we make sure that all people in Luton can access and make use of the opportunities that we're going to be able to provide over the coming years. You'll be hearing lots more about all of these things from me in the next 12 months, and I hope you have a really good rest of the afternoon. And now I'll hand back to Trevor.
I've changed as well, just a touch. So I was going to say I'll fill in, but I'm going to pick up on a couple of things Sally said. First off, she said this is about the investment framework, because the investment framework is how the whole stuff that we do fits together. If we're going to drive our economy, we need to have jobs. If we're going to have jobs, we need to have good schools and education. If we're going to have good schools and education, we need children going to those schools who are in supportive families, who have the right kind of attunement and language skills to make a difference as we go through. Sally didn't touch on there, really amazing stuff. We've had a spotlight on standards around Key Stage 2. Those of you who have got children will know where Key Stage 2 is. That's the lower end, the junior end. And we're in the bottom kind of part of the country, and some of that is about children coming into schools with a plethora of different languages, not having the right language skills and not having that emotional security when they go into schools. Spotlight on Standards has given us, over the last 12 months, the fastest rate of improvement anywhere in the country in terms of maths, and the third fastest rate of improvement anywhere in the country on English. That's really, really super stuff going on through our schools, and that's across the system, as Sally said, not delineating between academies or local authority run schools. It's really, really powerful stuff, and real testament to the whole system working to drive to the right outcomes. That will flow all the way through the education system and affect our GCSE results in years to come. Really, really powerful stuff from the People Directorate. Can you guess who's coming next? We'll go for Public Health, shall we? Public Health, Commissioning and Procurement. Again, Jerry's Directorate. We're the only place that I know of where procurement and commissioning sit under Public Health. Loads and loads of people are looking to follow our model because what we deliver as a place is public, as a council, are public health outcomes, because we improve the life chances of the people of the town. This is the right model, and we'll hear from Jerry.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm really sorry I can't be there. Like Sally, I'm also on holiday, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on three main areas that my team are focusing on at the moment. So one is the integration of commissioning. If you saw my recent video, you'll have seen me talk about that. Since the executive agreed at the end of June that we would be integrating our commissioning with the CCG, we've been really working on developing a plan, and we've got a range of service directors across the organisation leading on elements of that. It's going really well, so thank you everybody for supporting that piece of work. We're also getting talked about nationally, so we really need to make sure that we take that forward and deliver. One of the things that we're doing currently to take forward that integration is we're recommissioning our wellness service with a different model. We're doing that jointly with the CCG, so we're bringing in CCG and council services, and particularly bringing in services around wellness relating to physical and mental health. I don't know of anybody else that's doing that. That's going well, and we look to have the new provider in April. We've also got a new service director, Michelle Granite. Michelle is the new service director for quality and procurement. She started really by looking at procurement. We've done a lot of good work with procurement over the last couple of years since procurement was centralised, including helping to make savings through the housing budget, but also recommissioning drugs and alcohol services, for example, where we've come up with a new model and also managed to save quite a bit of money. What we need to do is look at our procurement so we make sure we're always using it in this strategic manner to help us commission, provide the right services, and also get the best value for money. In the spring, we did receive some additional money through the spring budget. This is known as the IBCF, or the Improved Better Care Fund money. This is focusing on adult social care, and what we're really trying to do in Luton is to really transform the way we provide services. This money is for a short period, so we really need to make the best of it, and we've set up a transformational programme in order to do that, which covers a range of areas to make sure we provide the right support for people making the best of technology and self-care. Many of you will be writing reports for CLMT and taking them through to executive, and will be asked to complete an IIA. To make the best of the IIA in our decision making, we really need the thinking to be done early. So I would really recommend to you that you start thinking about this very early as you're developing your plan and proposal, and ask for help if you need it. So for example, for health, ask somebody from public health. We'll be happy to help.
Just freeze frame. Now, how scary is that? Right, who's on Twitter? Come on, you've got to tweet that. You absolutely got to tweet that. It's all right, I'll cover your back. It's absolutely... That is just... No. just needs that kind of pose, doesn't it? Right, so I'd say it if he was here. I would say it if he was here. So we heard from Jerry, public health outcomes, commissioning. Absolutely, again, bang on the money. Just to unpack some of the stuff she said, she talked about the CCG. Not everybody necessarily. Oh, come on, show us your cards. If you don't know what the CCG is, can I see a red card? Yeah, okay, right. So it's worth me unpacking that, isn't it? Thank you. Clinical Commissioning Group. Clinical Commissioning Group is kind of the NHS body that holds the budget that commissions general practice, commissions mental health services, commissions the hospital, i.e. the people who provide services to us, the community. The CCG and the council have signed a concordat which effectively will roll over time the CCG into the council. Now it's an independent legal entity, but it will become part of the council. And we're doing that because of the transformation work that's happening in health. And currently, there's coterminosity between the CCG and Luton. They look after exactly the same population as us, and we don't want that to change. Equally, they're spending money on things which we're spending money on, and we want to get the best value for every pound of public sector money that's spent on our communities. So that's why we're doing it, and that's what Jerry was talking about. It's got an opportunity to make a very, very real difference to the life chances of people. As people live much longer, our challenge is to make sure that their element of frailty towards the end of life is short as possible, and that they're supported and active as long as they possibly can be. So that's what Jerry was talking about. So anyone want to guess who's coming next? That'll be Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter's in Southampton, and again this is a testament to what's going on in Luton, because actually our teams across the board are being asked to go and support other authorities to say actually how are you doing and how might you do things better. Robin's part of a peer review working with the LGA down in Southampton. Southampton are a good council, but they still ask for Robin to go and support their peer review. So Robin.
Good afternoon all. Apologies that I can't be with you this afternoon, but I'm down in Southampton doing a peer review of the council down there. So a big apology that I can't be with you for this afternoon. But I'm just going to give you a few minutes on what's happening across my areas. It is going to be an incredibly busy period over the next few months. Starting with the airport, we've got the bids in for the Luton Dart, the direct air rail transit system that we're going to build between Airport Parkway and the terminal station. That's a £225 million project, and we will be going to the airport board at the beginning of October recommending a preferred bidder for that, looking to start on site on that project by the turn of the year. During this September, we'll be putting a planning application in for the development of Bartlett Square. That's the remainder of the site on Kimpton Road that we're not using for the Luton Dart. And we're planning 240,000 square feet of commercial space. That's office and retail space there. And also a 170-bed four-star hotel. Also in September, we're going to be putting the planning application in for the Century Park Access Road, the new Century Park, which is the commercial development to the east of the airport, and also the new public space. That's going to deliver for Luton up to 1 million square feet of commercial development space. So really, really exciting time across the airport. In addition to all of that, the government's just launched a new consultation on their airport strategy, the national strategy, so we'll be responding to that. Finance team are very, very busy. Obviously we've got the budget that we're putting to bed, also this year's audit, and also the finance team are working up the proposal to lend the airport company the money that it needs for the developments that I've just outlined. To give you an idea of the impact of that, every 0.5% that the finance team can save us on the borrowing cost is worth a saving of about £1.6 million to us. So some really important work going on with the finance team around supporting the airport company. We've got, over the next couple of months, an older person's housing strategy coming in place, and we're really looking to uplift the quality of our provision to our older people, which is going to be incredibly important for us. Our assistive technology team have launched their business plan, which is important for us, not just because it improves the quality of our provision, again to our older population, but also because it's a big part of our commercialisation agenda. And with regards to the customer services reps and Ben's team, the landscape that we've got across the town is massively changing for our residents. We've got welfare reform, which has had a big impact. We've got universal credit, which is going to be coming in next year, which is a cross-departmental issue. And we've got a task and finish team. But we've also got circa 100 inquiries per month with regards to homelessness. So a really, really busy period. The HR and legal team continue to support the whole agenda, and Trevor will be speaking a bit more about the people plan this afternoon.
Brilliant, thanks Robin. Oh, Sally's back for another go. So they did that because two things. One, corporate management team, I'm really, really pleased to report, is working so tightly together to deliver the Luton Investment Framework. It's really, really strong as a team. And they knew they weren't going to be here. We couldn't find another date to make it, but they absolutely wanted to be in the room. So that was the best we can do. Hopefully that's given you a canter through their directorates. We are really, really lucky though. We did manage to keep Laura. So Laura's here in person, not quite so large on the screen, but Laura's here in person to go through what's going on with the investment framework from her perspective.
Okay, thanks Trevor. I'll catch up first of all on what's happening in place and infrastructure more generally. So I'm very pleased that we now have a new service director for planning. So Sue can wave at the back there. That's a post that we haven't had anyone in for over a year. We've had someone acting up, but that's a good appointment when we've got to drive through so many changes within and planning applications coming through. But for place and infrastructure, we're really on a period of transformation. So we have seen big changes in public realm service. Nearly all of that service will be based down at the depot, and Highways team have moved there last week, and that helps with some of the work that Roger's doing around transforming our estate, and is the first piece of the jigsaw. Many of you will also be moving around within our buildings in the town centre over the coming months, so that's a good piece of work. Roger's area, there are some big projects that he's taking forward in terms of how we are changing our buildings and how they work, but also leading on how we're delivering new houses through Foxhall Homes. So for us, there is a huge agenda. And to give you an example of some of the things that we're dealing with, I was on the radio this morning talking about the Minions. How many of you have seen the Minions? And what did you think? Good? Oh, we can have it. Who likes the Minions can give me a green card. So the challenge for me is that that's actually graffiti. But we are very supportive of people doing public art. I think they just need to talk to us a bit. So I did that first thing this morning. After that, I have been to the Luton Employment Training Skills Fair, a great event that we do a couple of times a year, which is an opportunity for local people to find out about all of the jobs that are available in the local economy, supported by about 50 businesses and also training providers. It is a great event, and I think it is a really strong example of where we can see the Luton Investment Framework really beginning to make a difference to our residents. So there's a real buzz. Trevor popped down as well, and we get a lot of people working on that. It's a good example of partnership working with businesses, training providers and Job Centre Plus, and we are really driving that agenda. For me, why that was a really great event today is it's the first time that Luton Adult Learning, which moved into the department in April, we could see that gelling together in driving forward the skills agenda. The Luton Investment Framework is a really important piece of work for all of us. We're all involved in it. All of you are contributing. My department has been leading on some of the work around developments and taking those forward, but other bits of the council are fundamentally involved. Sally's area in delivering the transformation of schools, which is really great, and the performance, and on encouraging people to get involved in apprenticeships. Jerry's area on transforming public health, and the links then through to housing. If we can get people into work and sort out their housing issues, we will be transforming lives, and that's very much what we're about. I need your help with a few things though. Many of you are residents of the town, and you can use your cards again. Do you think the condition of the town is looking better than about 6 months ago, or worse? Well, that's good. So what you will have seen is a real focus. I've been going, majority Greens, I've been going out having a look at some areas. We've put in some additional, executive agreed some additional resources for us to do some hotspot areas. Anyone been up to the airport lately? I went on Sunday evening, and Old Airport Way, where we've got a lot of people parking, was just one complete rubbish tip. So it isn't our responsibility to pick up people's rubbish. They should take it home with them. But we have done a litter clean. So we need you to be some of our ambassadors about encouraging people to look after the town, and that's one of our key messages. The other thing I need some help from you on is we on our board over, it was on some of the films, we talk about getting into London by train in 22 minutes. At the moment, that service is at risk. So we would be really grateful if you would look at the consultation about the East Midlands Main Line franchise and give your feedback. Why it's important is that if you want to go somewhere further north on the line, you will now potentially have to go into London and back out. That may impact on some of you who are commuting, but actually in terms of what we're trying to do about making this a great business location, we need that connectivity. So if you can help us and get some of those messages out. Sean has been running a campaign on Twitter and Facebook around that, but if we can get lots of messages out around that, that will be really helpful. So it's a really great year for us. We are absolutely committed to changing some of the ways that we do work and in driving the skills agenda, and it's a really exciting time to be working in Luton.
Career pathways. When we're trying to market the council as a place, how many people came into the council and thought, well, I'm going to be an X, Y or Z, and in 5 years' time I'm going to be a manager or this, that or the other? I don't think we describe our career pathway at all. My experience is, some of you will know, some of you won't know, I used to be in the Royal Air Force. If you Google the Royal Air Force website for employment, please don't, because I don't really want you to go into the Royal Air Force. First thing you see is very, very clearly all of the trades that you could do in the Royal Air Force. Really easy. Click and it tells you what the trade is. Second thing you'll see is the rank structure and the career profile that you could have. We don't describe the career profile. We don't describe the level of investment. So we don't say to young people coming in as social workers, do you know what? Come and work with us. We're a really smart employer. We want you to be a social worker. We want you to be the next grounds maintenance manager. We want you to be, here's the opportunity that you could have if you work for us. We need to get smarter at describing the career opportunities and the career pathways so we excite young people for a full career in local government and start to deal with that age demographic that really, really is tipped the wrong way. So that's what we're trying to do. And actually, our pay structure doesn't suit it either, because our pay structure, you kind of, you know, if you've got your job, going through job evaluation, you have to show how much budget, how many people, how many external people do you talk to. Okay, but some people are just solid professionals. Some people don't have loads of line management functions. Some people don't have big budgets to command, but we need their brains in the organisation. So we need to get our pay system to recognise both the professional route and the management route. So do you know what? If you're going to be the next principal social worker, or you're going to be the next, I don't know, the UK's advisor on traffic management, they're really, really good aspirations. We need to be an organisation that recognises both the career professional route and the management route and rewards accordingly. That bottom schematic with loads of faces on, that's our management and leadership programme. So we're taking people through a competitive process and saying, what can we invest in you around your management and leadership skills? How can we equip you to be the service managers, service directors, corporate directors and chief execs of the future? A highly competed for programme. We've done work on Team Luton. We've done work on our awards. We've done work on apprentices. This is really good. This is really, really good. I did a day out with the refuse crews, and it was really good fun actually, because I think they had this brief, run Trevor off his feet. Someone forgot to tell them that I run quite a bit, so I had a cracking day. Really, I couldn't have done it for a second day. Hats off to the guys and girls who do that job. I couldn't have done it for the second day, not because of my legs, but my arms were absolutely worn out. But the challenge to me was, well, okay, what about if I come and shadow you, Trevor? That was so valuable to me, so valuable. And when I talk to colleagues in other authorities, they all do shop floor days. They don't do it going the other way. We do it the other way. If you want to shadow a service director, if you want to shadow a corporate director, if you want to shadow me, absolutely the door's open to do that, because as an organisation we're working in a way that says, what do you do, what do I do, come and have a look, and I'll accept your challenge to come and have a look and see what you do. Okay, the concept is this: how many people have got more than one thing that they need to do? Red cards, green cards? Yeah. One of the things when I came into local government, I was amazed at how many priorities you could have. Before eventually then none of them are priority, they're just stacks of things that you've got to do. The concept of Tiger Team is that actually we're taking people and we're saying, we want you to focus on this one thing. So we've got a Tiger Team focusing at contingency workforce to say, how are you going to drive down contingency workforce within the council? We've got one looking at, really, really important, how we control the money that's due to us and how we control the spend going out. We've got one looking at what's happening with the HR issues, so that we're driving, it's described as focusing effort in time and space to make a difference, to move some of these things forward, and they really are the priorities, because in terms of budget, we've still got about £11 million to take out of our budget going forward, and we want to do that in the least painful way possible. So we're focusing on things that we need to focus on. I'm going to hand over to Sean and talk about pay negotiations. So you'll hear it from the centre in terms of what's happening around pay.
Yeah, just to talk to you a little bit about pay negotiations. So you'll know that the government's just announced that they're going to remove the pay cap, so the freeze on 1%. So that gives us a bit more leeway to look at your pay. So my role is I'm on the employer's side, the negotiating body that negotiates pay for local government workers. And at the moment, that's a national body where the employers, i.e. the council representatives, and the unions get together and negotiate how much of a pay rise or not that you're going to get. So at the moment, I'm the chair of that nationally and the lead Labour member. So I've got quite a difficult role, because as a Labour member, actually a pay rise is what I want to give all of you. But from a council's point of view, I have to put the other hat on and say, well, how am I going to afford this as a council? How can we afford to pay for it? So pay negotiations at the moment have been difficult the last few years because of the cap, but moving forward we'll be able to have a little bit more leeway. But actually there's no more money. So with my political hat on, if the government gives us more money, happy days, we'll give you all a pay rise. Even Conservative councillors, again talking politically, want to give local government workers a pay rise. So you'll see stuff coming up in the newspapers and on TV about firefighters' pay and about police officers' pay, and so soon we'll be talking about local government. But there's going to be a lot of changes to your pay anyway. Rewrite the whole pay scale that governs how you are paid.
And that's because of two things. Firstly, the national living wage means that some of the pay scales that are right at the bottom, they're going to be needed to lift up so that we don't have people that are not on or above the national living wage. So that's the first thing. Secondly, there are gaps between all the pay points, and some of them are 2p between that point, and some of them are £2.50 between that point and that point. And there is a need to standardise it. It's a really, really difficult task. We need to have equal gaps between every pay point. Horrible job to do. It's short-term pain, but it'll be long-term gain. So when we do that, that means some people will be getting quite a high pay rise to bring them to that standardisation, and some will be getting less. But that's separate from the overall pay rise that everyone's going to get. So there will be huge changes to your pay. I will stick my neck out and say they will be upwards, but for some people it's going to be a smaller amount, and some people it's going to be a higher amount.